Welcome to another video of ARTO providing candidates and clients insights as to what our experts are seeing in their particular fields. Today I'm joined by Charlie Jones. Charlie's an executive director at ARTO and he specialises in R&D and clinical development across the east coast of North America, purely in immunology. Welcome, Charlie. To get straight into it, are there any emerging subfields in immunology that are particularly hot right now?
Yeah, there's been loads of developments in immunology over the last couple of years. I think the most prominent one has probably been cell therapy in immunology. A lot of oncology companies are actually pivoting to autoimmune diseases because it's very, very expensive to manufacture and the trials are really expensive to run. So a lot of oncology biotechs and big pharmas have been pivoting to cell therapy, so for diseases like lupus and stuff like that.
Where you seem to have had a lot of developments and placements at the moment, what advice would you give to people sort of early on in their careers in immunology and how to go about best setting themselves up for success of getting roles?
Good question. It is really competitive right now. There's a lot of amazing physicians and scientists on the market looking for roles. There are a few things that you can do to help yourself stand out. The biggest thing you can do is plan your own network. We're very lucky that we work in an industry where people like helping people. So my advice would be, if you know anyone who's working in biotech or pharma already, utilize them and just ask for advice. How did they move into industry? What advice do they have from when they first done it? Who do they know that they can put you in touch with? Because people don't mind doing that. They want to help. And then something else what I really like, which a lot more farmers are doing, so companies like Vertex and AbbVie, they actually run physician training for like 2 years. So what they'll do is they'll put you on a 2-year physician development path, and in that 2 years you'll get loads of opportunities to try out medical affairs, translational medicine, bench science, clinical development. Then 9 times out of 10, I'd say by the end of it you usually have a couple of offers from that company and you get to decide what route you want to go down. I know loads of people that have done that. I think Vertex run a really strong one at the moment, and they've gone on to have really good careers.
When you say use your network, how strong would it be if you had maybe reference quotes from those people that you're going to your network at the bottom of your CV?
I think that'll make a huge amount of difference. We're in a market today where, with everything that's going on in the world, people are a bit unsure of what's going to happen. So companies don't like taking risks at the moment. So anything you can do to de-risk employing someone, they're going to do it. People trust people. So if you've got someone that can be an advocate for you within a company, it's going to put you ahead of other competition that's going for that role.
On the client side, what do you feel are the biggest challenges of attracting immunology talent at the moment?
There's a few challenges. I would say competition is one of the biggest ones right now, particularly if you're a small biotech. In the past, somewhat, biotech has been seen as the risky type of company to join, as opposed to big pharma. I actually don't agree with that too much at the moment, just because you see big pharma companies like Takeda going through global restructurings, and those are meant to be the safe companies. But as we're going back to what I said earlier about it being an uncertain market right now, people don't like taking risks. So naturally, people are sort of prioritising big pharma companies over biotech right now, which is making it really hard for biotech to get great talent.
In this war for talent, what advice would you give to these companies in terms of trying to hone that talent, bring it in, but also be respectful in terms of where they might have to relocate or what they have to do with schooling? What would you say there?
Typically, some of the toughest profiles to find are candidates that have been in industry for 4 to 7 years at a leadership level, but still not too much of a leader that they don't want to do like the hands-on work still. You know, finding that real in between, someone you can inspire in doing the role, but also has that experience of for that strategic and leadership advice as well. So the thing with these candidates quite often is they are at that point in their life where they have got young families. So the companies that we're seeing are having the best success are the companies that are proactively preparing for the hiring rather than being reactive. We call it market mapping. So build a relationship with a specific profile of candidates and just understand when they might be able to move. So then you can work the hiring around that rather than saying we need someone in August, but we need someone who's probably the hardest type of profile to find. That's also on top of that, we want them to relocate. So as I said, what a lot of these companies now doing are doing market mapping. So they've got a network of candidates. So when a role does go live, or if we know when a candidate is more open to move in, they can work it around that. We're seeing a lot of success.
Are there any hubs where we're seeing more competitive nature or more talent growth at the moment?
The typical one is Cambridge, Kendall Square. It's crazy what's happened there over the last 15 years. I think someone was telling me when they first moved there was like a couple of pharma companies, and now you walk down the street and there's 10 different pharma countries all on one road. With that, I do actually think it's getting a little bit saturated, and I'm hearing a lot of biotechs that can't afford to be in the Kendall Square area. So we're actually seeing a rise in like the tri-state, so Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey. There are a lot of really exciting biotechs coming out of there. Obviously, you've got UPenn, which is a real top medical and science institute as well. So naturally, there's a lot of talent there. North Carolina has seen a rise as well. So you've got a research triangle there, which is typically manufacturing and CDMOs, CROs, but there are more pharmas and biotechs springing up. So I won't be surprised in the next 5 years if we see a lot more opportunities in probably, North Carolina, a research triangle, plus also the tri-state.
To conclude then, you're someone uniquely that I found, in my career that has had inbound business from referrals where people have come to you from the work you've done. Also, I've known you now for 5 years, and there's a period when you had extremely hard searches, and you say to this day that made me a much better recruiter.
Yeah.
What's separating you at the moment, do you think, in terms of why people keep coming to you? And these are big companies that are ringing you up and saying, can we have your help?
I think maybe what I do that maybe some other recruiters aren't doing as much is when I'm working with a candidate, I really, really spend time really getting to know them and understand really what their motivations are. So I know whenever I'm sending a candidate to a company, I'm pretty certain that they're going to be interested in the position. I'm really a quality over quantity type person. For example, say I'm working a medical director role. Most people know what in this industry, most people know what a medical director does, and the job responsibilities are quite typically the same. When I'm working with these companies, I'm actually really going in to find what are the more intrinsic skills and motivations that they'll be looking for from a candidate to make sure that the personality fit is bang on, because I feel you can train someone on the technical skills and you can train them on science, but you can't train someone's personality. And I think if you put someone into a role and they're not going to be a good fit with the team, it can actually be more detrimental to the team, not having that bit. So I think that's the difference.
Amazing. Thank you very much for watching again. Again, please follow us on LinkedIn. And Charlie, really appreciate your time.